Hey y'all, happy Thursday. I feel like there has been so much going on since the last time I recorded an episode and I miss y'all. I miss this. I need to stop taking so much time in between, but anyway, so today's episode is going to be a little fun for me at least. But the episode is entitled Living Single after one of my favorite comfort shows in the whole entire world. But more specifically, I wanted to talk about living single in your 30s. And also, even more specifically, I wanted to talk about the pros of living single in your 30s because I feel like everybody has so much negative to say about like being single and blah blah blah, and even me myself, because I am single, I am in my 30s, and I can be so negative about it sometimes, and I'm just like, you know what, it is actually really great when you sit and think about it. There are so many advantages of it just being you by yourself, and being old enough to understand it and like respect it more. So I wanted to get into at first I was gonna do the pros and cons, and I was like, you know what? No, ain't no cons. And also, just to jump back for a hot second, the irony of this being called living single. But I was thinking about the actual show Living Single, and I was like, all of them were in their 20s, and it is my show, and no shade to Miss Yvette, no shade to anybody, because I'm telling y'all, like, this is my favorite show in the whole entire world. But the fact that none of them were in their 30s, literally, there's this whole episode where Kyle turns 30, and like, that's it. It's never mentioned that any of the other roommates or cast members, I mean, their characters turn 30. So you have to assume that everybody other than Kyle is in their 20s in the show. And I'm like, that is just really unrealistic, especially to be doing all the things that they were doing in their 20s. Like, come on now. Like, he was a whole stockbroker. Like, not to say that it can't happen, but like, for real, come on now. But anyway, jumping forward again. So, we're going to talk about some of the pros of living single in your 30s. So, the first one is solo travel. Now, me myself, I have never traveled alone yet. I plan to, but I have yet to do that. But many of my friends have, my sister has, and especially my sister, like she has told me, my sister and my best friend Carly often travels alone, but my sister, she did it once, and she was just saying how like it was such an exhilarating experience. She got to get up and go whenever she wants. She's really type A. But she's like, I just got to, do whatever I wanted to. And I think that that is one of the pluses, getting to go to places that you want alone and experiencing them in a way that is specific to you, in a way that you want. I think a lot of times when we travel like in groups, whether it be like our friends or even our family, we are subject to doing what the group wants to do. Everybody wants to do this, so let's go do this. Everybody wants to do that, so let's go do that. And it's just like, well, what do I really want to do? Like, what would I be experiencing if I wasn't with 12 other people? And I think that that is just so great that you get to move at your own pace and you don't have to, follow the crowd. And with that, I also have to say, like, I guess a subgenre of that would be just going places alone, just in general. I was talking to my mama, let my mama down, but she was going, she went to Vegas with her friends. My mama is now 60, praise the Lord, hallelujah. But my mom is married to my daddy, who is also 60 now. And my mama, she was telling me that she wanted to go somewhere in Vegas. She wanted to go to like a show, or I'm pretty sure it was a show that she wanted to go see. But she was like, well, we have this itinerary, because she was going on a girls trip, child, with her little friends. And so She was like, well, like we have this itinerary, but I do like wish that I could go to this show. And I was like, how come you can't? And she was like, well, I really don't go places by myself. And until she said that, did it not really like hit me that my mama really don't do much by herself. Like, she got pregnant when she was 19 and she's 60. Like, she has been in a relationship for that whole time. And I'm just like, wow. Like, all she pretty much knows is being, a couple. And not that there's anything wrong with that. I think it's so beautiful that my parents have been together for forever. But also I'm just like, my heart was a little bit sad for her when she told me that, and I was just like, mommy, like, I want you to be able to, experience things by yourself without, daddy or us or, your friends. Like, what does Kim like to do? And she was like, she was like, y'all a different generation than us. Like, y'all just do what y'all want and y'all go. Like, even me, like, I moved to California by myself. Funny enough, I had never been to California before I moved here. It was literally just like, and you know what? This is what I feel like God is telling me to do. So I'm gonna go to California. Came here by myself, did the whole doggone thing. I did have help along the way, but mostly, just being by myself and navigating this whole thing alone. And I do think that that in itself, um, just lended a hand in the person that I am now, because even though I'm still scary, like like I was scared to do a whole bunch of stuff, I still do it. Like, I'd be like, I'm nervous to do this, but for one, I have to, and then also because I'm going to, like, I'm not gonna not do something that I desire to do because I'm by myself. So like there's a bunch of things that I still have yet to experience that I want to, whether that is going to be alone or with a partner. Like, that's just completely up to fate and God. So like, but I think I do think that you should be able to experience life by yourself, for yourself, on your own terms, to just really get to know yourself. And I just think, it's a blessing to be able to do that. So um the next the next pro of living single in your 30s, which is one of my favorites. The cutoff game is immaculate. Dating with within itself is such a just a tedious task. It's so tedious. It can be so draining. Especially as a woman in your 30s, trying to what is the word I'm looking for? Just decipher who is owed your time and your attention. The way that I will cut a nigga off now, as opposed to when I was younger in my 20s, baby, we done. Do not piss me off. Don't get on my nerves. Don't be like, no, you step to the left, brother, because in your 30s, you are way less tolerant of foolishness. You just are. Nobody wants to deal with the fool. Nobody, just in general, nobody in their 20s or their teens, like, literally nobody wants to deal with the fool. But your 30s, baby, please don't come at me with that. Go ahead, take it back home to your mama, because I'm not dealing with you. All that, like, stringing you along and not committing and blah, blah, blah. Like, no, we don't have time for that. We have real conversations in your 30s, and we don't play games. And the thing about it is that if you want to, once again, you can step to the left. So, and then the greatest thing, I feel like it's a superpower of being in your 30s. Like, you literally can sense nonsense. You can see it coming a mile away, and you are able to make more educated decisions on who you want around you. Like, you really just get to be like, pause. This feels familiar. I've dealt with this before. or my friend has dealt with this before and I'm not doing this. Like, you really just, I'm telling you, it is a superpower. You become superhuman over dating and blah, blah, blah. And that's why sometimes when we see like people in their 30s and 40s and 50s dealing with bullcrap, we be like, ain't you too old for that? Like, it's one thing with now, okay, there's people that are scammers. Like, some people will come and they will absolutely blow your mind, and then they turn out to just be a fool, and it's like you or your whole entire friend group couldn't see it coming. But for the most part, it's easier to spot out a fool and to cut them off. Like, just being able to, and then I could say that just over a vast majority of things in your 30s, because not only dating, friendships, jobs, like the way that life is now, is like, you know what, this actually doesn't work for me, and so I'm done. And you just be done. And being able to do that is so peaceful and refreshing, and it's so nice to put yourself first and to not feel any type of way about that, because I think that also something that comes in your 30s and doing things like that, you realize that there's no repercussions of putting yourself first. It's like, okay, yeah, I did what Misha wanted to do, and that was the best thing for me. Feel like when you're younger, you sometimes have all this like, oh my gosh, like everybody's gonna be mad at me, I'm not gonna be able to do this, I'm not gonna, which none of it, is not true. And you come to those realizations just the older you get. And it frees you, to be able to have people around you that you want, have the things that you want. And that leads me to the next point, which is one of my personal favorites: freedom. When you are single in your 30s, you can do what you want, whatever that is. If you want to go hiking, I don't. If you want to go bowling, that's cool with me. If whatever, if you want to jump out of planes, that's crazy to me. But if that is your prerogative, you can do that. See, because sometimes I even wonder about me when I get in a relationship because I'm a very, like, if I don't want to do something, I'm not going to do it. But guess what? I'm single and I don't have to worry about somebody being like, no, babe, like, let's do this. How about you get on my face? Like, no, I don't. And I'm sure I'll be more compromising when, when the day comes, when I get a man. But it's not here. And I get to do what I want. So I actually asked my brother, he just happened to call while I was compiling this list of pros. And so I asked him, what was one of his biggest pros about being single in his 30s. He's 34. And so he is the one who said freedom. And I'm like, yeah, duh. Like, yeah, agreed. And I don't know why I didn't have it on the list at first. But he said to live life without consequences. People be, and I quote, people be miserable in relationships, and that ain't it. That ain't life. That is not living. That shit feel worse than jail, which is crazy. And that is crazy. I feel like sometimes when we try to conform to a relationship, sometimes we make a commitment to other people, and it's like, you think that you're ready for a relationship, you think that it's like, okay, like, this is the person, but then after a while you realize, like, this ain't working. And I know it's scary to, like, separate from someone that you've been with, but the freedom that comes with making decisions for yourself, and even the decision to know that, like, okay, this relationship is not working for either one of us, and to be able to move forward and just trusting that, like, okay, if this is not for us, then what is for us will find us, for both parties. Like, who wants to be trapped in something that doesn't work for them? Nobody. And it's like, it's different, obviously, and this is in no way to put down good relationships and healthy relationships. I want one myself. Like, being single is cool. Like, I think that is just even the basis of how this subject came about, because sometimes like I said, I can be so negative about being single when really there's so much to it. There's so much more to it. Like, there's so much more that I could be doing. And I feel like I do a lot, like, but there's even more. Like, I feel like, you know, if you are trapped in a just the feeling in itself of being trapped in anything, like especially a relationship, especially having to deal with just another party and having to, sit and break bread and make decisions with someone that you don't want to anymore. I can imagine it does feel like jail. And which leads me back to the previous point. This is why your cutoff game got to be immaculate, and then the older that you get, the more precise it becomes, because when you are done, you are done. And I think that that is such a beautiful thing to be able to come to terms with and to understand, because I think that a lot of people hold on to things because they don't want to be alone, and that is such a rocky place to be in, because like you're gonna deal with some BS just because you don't want to be by yourself. Like that's crazy. Like don't do that to yourself. Like absolutely give yourself the option to move on and to have more fun and to be free. Like just let yourself be free. You don't have to have to ask anybody for anything, which is another point. One of my favorite things about being single is not having to ask permission for things. I don't have to ask anybody, anywhere, anyhow, to do what, when, where, how, why, which one. Because I'm single and I'm grown. Like, of course you have, your friends, your family to make suggestions. Sometimes your family makes super hard suggestions that you still ignore. But just just not having to ask permission for things. One of my and I know this is something that the Lord is gonna have to work on me with when I do get a husband. But just like, oh, like let me ask my husband. Let me at like I think that that phrase is so annoying, and I have always hated it. But I'm like, I know that it's real. Like, and I know that when you do get in a relationship with somebody, like you have to run things by them, like that. You cannot just do things. You cannot just make decisions on your own. You cannot, because literally it's a partnership. But being on the outside of it, like hearing that from other people, it'd be like, oh yeah, go ask the old ball and chain. I sound real crazy, but no, literally, like not having to do that is such a joy and such a pleasure. And I know one day when I get a man, somebody might pull this audio up and be like, "Do you remember when you were saying that you didn't like that?" And I'm like, "Yeah, let me go ask my husband what he thinks about it." But but no, no, seriously though, I do enjoy not having to do that. So bless you all that do. I hope your marriages are great and you don't feel trapped like you're in jail. So anyway, moving on to my next point. Um, one of my personal favorite pros of living single in my 30s is the amount of time I get to spend with my friends and talk to my friends and love on my friends and hang with my friends and see what my friends is doing. I love my friends. They are literally my lifelines. Like, sometimes even the thought of like us, getting married and like having other people, and I'm like, oh my gosh, like what if I get married and I don't get to talk to Brie every day or Mossy every day? Like I don't know, like if, because sometimes like Carly will call me and like she'll be like, are you busy? And I'm like, no, like I'm just never too busy for my friends ever. And I'm just like, oh my gosh, like what if the day comes and she calls me like and I can't answer because I'm with my husband and my kids, like my friends, like I just love them so much. Like and I just, you get the time to really sort out, the people that really F with you, like the people that really mess with you, and like that when the world turns and we do all get the relationships that we want and blah blah, like we will be there 1,000% supporting each other. But like it is no mystery that things change, life changes, you get older, like then you have, people, you have kids and stuff that are real important, and you don't have as much time for your friends and stuff, and I just, oh, the thought of that just makes me so sad. But the great thing about the friends that will be there forever, like they're gonna be there forever, like they're gonna be aunties, see kids, and blah blah blah. But like I being single, like even like when my friends like, oh, I'm coming to LA, I'm here in LA for this weekend or this week or blah blah blah, like, okay, turn up, like what we doing? Just being able to not, just to have the time to be like, okay, well, this is just what I'm doing this weekend, like it's up with me and my friends, and that is so fun because they're my friends. So just more time to spend with your friends, that is just one of my greatest treasures in life. I love my friends so much. Y'all know how I feel about my friends. So on to the next point. A great pro about living single in your 30s is you don't have anyone to disappoint you. When you go to sleep, you wake up just the same. Everything is the same, unless, of course, like it's that time of the month or something. But literally, like, everything is all the same. So, I just think that, just to not having to compromise with someone about anything, not having to, deal with, like, and I hate to be so dramatic, but even, like, you don't have to worry about somebody else's attitude all day. It's like, well, because even with your friends, like if they having a bad day, which mostly, they'll tell you like, oh, I'm just having a bad day, I don't feel like talking, blah blah blah. But when it's your partner that you sleeping with, and you actually have to like be in the same house and like share energy and all that good stuff, like that's a lot. And I feel like, but that's also why when you actually do get in a relationship, you really have to open your mouth and be mature and all those things. But like, if you're not ready, don't do it. But like, just, you ain't got nobody to cheat on you, nobody to potentially beat on you. Please don't. Like, also, these are just scenarios. Like, if someone is putting their hands on you, I want you to take them out. This is completely off the record. But like, no, seriously. But, no, everything is just the same. Like everything's the same. You don't have anybody to disappoint you. I feel like that's a very straightforward. So, and also another pro that I think is good, especially for me, like I personally can be more career oriented. I feel like I'm one of those people that kind of got a later start. I really My 30s have been the years that I've really come to like know what I want to do and like really invest time and money and energy into myself. And I feel like just having the time to explore my interests and really being able to take my time and do it is such a treasure. Like it's such a blessing to be able to like, okay, I'm gonna sit in this. I'm gonna take something because even like y'all know I'm still unemployed. But getting laid off, like I genuinely feel like if I had a husband and the children, like it would just be way more stressful. Like I gotta figure this out. I gotta take care of the family. Blah blah. Like I got mouths to feed. Like right now it's just one. It's just me. And so, and sometimes I get so literally. I was this whole conversation with my brother. I was telling him like I just feel like I need to hurry up and do this and hurry up and do that. And like, just, I need to do blah, blah, blah. And he was like, hey, like, take your time, like, slow down. You got a billion things that you want to do. And lately I've been kind of taking the, I guess I have like a new mantra. I've been like, just do one hard thing a day. Literally just one. Whether that is like the other day was like clean the bathroom. My shower is so hard to clean and I really be having to like focus and like bear down like, okay, today we're gonna clean the bathroom, tomorrow we're gonna put in 10 job applications. And literally it's just been like that, amongst all the other stuff that you have to do, but just like the hard things, like the big things. And so even today it's like record this podcast, like you have the time, go ahead, do it, get it done. And just, those small decisions, call the doctor, schedule a doctor's appointment, blah, blah, blah. Just what, and the thing is that I really was just like, man, if I do one hard thing every day, that is 7 hard things a week. And that's 7 things that I wasn't initially getting done because I was just sitting on my hands having what I'm pretty sure is ADHD, not getting myself together. And because honestly, the more things that I have to do, the more I'm like, okay, I have this and this and this. And I literally just end up doing nothing. Nothing at all. It's just like, okay, well, I guess we'll try again tomorrow. And then tomorrow. And then tomorrow comes in. Then the next day comes. And the next day comes in. It's like, well, I actually haven't done any of the things that I want to. But doing just one of those things makes me feel so much better. And I feel like I do have the time to organize my little chaotic mind and, my little chaotic life and brain because I am single. I get to focus on my interests and the things that I want to do, and prayerfully, those interests become things that are lucrative. Because especially when you're creative, like your interests are the things that are going to end up being the things that pay you. And so just being able to sit down and really think about what I want for myself and my future is just amazing. And finally, love me some Jesus. I was thinking about how Paul speaks in Corinthians about specifically about being single, and how in the eyes of God it's preferable over being married. I actually pulled the scripture up. Let me see. In 1 Corinthians 7:6, he says, "Now as a concession, not a command, I say this: I wish that all were as I myself am." And he was talking about being single, because in context in this chapter, he's speaking about being married versus being single. But he says, "I wish that all were as I myself am, but each has his own gift from God, one of one kind and one to another. To the unmarried and the widows, I say that it is good for them to remain single as I am. But if they cannot exercise self-control, they should marry, for it is better to marry than to burn with passion." And this actually always makes me giggle a little bit, because he basically like, hey, life is great being single. Like, and I genuinely feel like the only reason you should get married is to have sex. Like, genuinely. And obviously there's more to it, like, being fruitful and multiplying. Obviously that is also something God wants us to do. But Paul is is emphasizing just that, it is way better to be single because and it's, obviously there's more scriptures about it and stuff like that, but I wanted to keep it simple. But just that when you're single, everything that you are is God's. You can give him all your attention, all your time, all your everything, instead of having to split it up between, your family, your all the things, your family, your job, your kids, your hobbies, blah, blah, blah. Everything that you do, it returns back to God. And I feel like that is such an important sentiment that sometimes we forget. It's so much easier for us to streamline our focus to our creator when we are single and when we have the time to do that, because there are I'm sorry, the verses are slipping from my mind right now. I suck at memorizing scripture also, Lord please forgive me. But just the Bible talks about just how, giving God your first fruits, and being single does aid in that, and just him being your main focus and not it being your family and all that. And I just think that that in itself leads you to becoming a fully formed person. And just all these things, being able to do them by yourself and loving yourself and focusing on yourself allows you to become a fully whole person. I think that sometimes when it comes to like marriage and having partnership, it's like, oh, like I'm like, there's this notion that it's like you're 50% of a person, I'm 50%, and we're together, we're one. Like, no, it's actually 100. And I just feel like, the longer you take time to really get to know yourself, you can really bring more to a relationship. And if the end all is not a relationship, that's fine too, because you know yourself and you get to do whatever the hell you want to do. I have seen more videos of old women being like, I lived this great life and I never got married. And all the comments are like, that's exactly why she lived this great life, because she never got married. And that is true. Like, one of my favorite single women, my freaking single idol, I feel like, Tracy Ellis Ross. I always be like, you know what? Sometimes when I get down about being single, I be like, I could be Tracy Ellis Ross. Like, and I'm sure, because I've heard her in interviews speak about, her wanting to be in a relationship and stuff, but it's just like, at what cost? Like, she's Tracy Ellis Ross. Like, wouldn't you want to be her over just being somebody that's married? But, but no, but that's just, one of the great, benefits. She does whatever she wants. I feel like she's just this amazing person, and she's somebody great that we all look up to, obviously. And if I'm either, if the options are to be trapped in a relationship with somebody who just gives me half of themselves, or be Tracy Ellis Ross, baby, you know what I'm a pig. But but no, I say all of that to say, like, there will be no cons of this discussion. There are only pros. And find what yours are. If they're different from mine, I'm sure that, there are good reasons to be single. If you are single, please chin up. Don't be walking around here acting like it's just the worst thing in the world, because it's literally not. Like, love it, embrace it. If it's forever, then okay. If it's for a short time, then okay. Just do you. You get to do you. You get to have the time to do you, and just live your absolute best life. Because I am. Shoot. I'm about to do more and be more. And I just feel like, it's your life and you only get one of them. So stop sulking. And if you are, because some of us, I be like 50-50, but some women, or some people in general, just absolutely love being single, which also brings me to what is going to be part two, because I'm going to bring in one of my friends who freaking loves being single. So we will discuss that at a later date. But yeah, so just wherever you are in life, just enjoy it. And just, if you live in single in your 30s, I'm here with you. So all right, y'all just have a great Thursday, and I hope this blessed y'all. Okay, love y'all.